In this video, I'm going to show you why you're preventing yourself from accessing freedom, happiness, wellness, and vitality because you've got an internal representation of a contract that you've put in place, and that is preventing you from being able to access these things. Hey everyone, my name's Michael and this is The Real Shift. I help people to move inwards to live a life expanded, and in this episode I just wanted to explain that we have all been sold a big fat lie. And what I mean by that is that society and our culture today has actually led us to believe that in order for us to access a particular state of being, we need to have an external thing or an event or an experience in order to feel that. And it's so far from the truth. I'll give you an example. So for me, for a lot of my adult life, I believed that in order for me to feel freedom and security, I needed to have financial freedom. And there's a couple of problems with this. The first thing is that what is my definition of financial freedom? Now, if somebody says I want to feel financially free, then they should be able to snap off an absolute definition immediately. If they can't rattle off a definition immediately of what that means, then they're going to be on an endless race towards something that might not be in true harmony with who they are and what they really want to achieve. And so there's a big trade-off that's actually happening, and that's going to be the main theme of this short video. How did this become cultivated? How did I get this idea? Well, you've got a lot of people out there that are sort of equaling kind of money to freedom, right? And that argument was sold to me, but I was the one who ultimately bought it. All right. So society, culture, all the property investment spruikers, etc., all were telling me this message, and I was tuned into it, and I accepted it as being the truth. So the issue with this, all right, is firstly I didn't have a clear definition, but the main issue here is that the agreement that I'd actually created was like an internal representation of a contract that had been planted inside my subconscious mind. All right, so I had this signed contract basically saying that I am not allowed, or I am not giving myself permission to feel freedom until I have this external representation of it. All right, so in that case, it was financial freedom. So I'm not giving myself permission to feel freedom until then. All right, the truth is that we all have access to freedom right now. Make sure you hang around to the end of the video and I'll show you how we can actually access that. But another area that people get sucked into is significance. And so, the feeling or the need for significance. So in my case, I had linked my self-worth to my productivity. So what I'm actually producing in this world. And again, this is the ego mind that's actually creating this, because now I've linked my self-worth to what I produce. All right. And so what happened is that I'm frantically filling every minute of every day with something that I perceive as being productive, so that when somebody comes up to me in the street and says, hey, what have you been up to? Oh, I've been creating this, I've been doing this, right? Because now I feel significant and I feel worthy. And so another area that that people get really trapped in actually needing something, or needing to create something, or to have something, and this is a huge one for a lot of people, is love and connection. So Hollywood and the music industry has continually bombarded us, right, with movies and lyrics that lead us to believe that I can only feel love when I have this perfect partner, or if I have this, connection with my child, or whatever it is. So again, so far from the truth. We can access love and connection within ourselves. We don't need to look at it externally. Of course, I have an incredible relationship with my wife, for example, but the next level of freedom is being able to access that love and connection without that person being there. Okay. So that 100% can be accessed. And this is a two-step process. The first step to actually understanding how you can access all of these states of being without having that external representation is to actually have that awareness that, in my case, for example, money is not what I wanted. A big pile of money here is not really what I wanted. It is my perception of what money will bring me. And in my case, I had a link of money equals freedom. I had signed off a contract internally and made an internal representation of it, and I had an emotional link now to it. All right, so that now drives me because it's now planted from my conscious state into my subconscious mind. So there's been a communication and an acceptance that's actually taken place there. The second step is to start a practice of gratitude, like a daily practice, I mean. And when somebody first told me that I should start a gratitude practice, I thought it was just some, weird kind of hippie, just sit around and just feel great all day kind of activity that you do. I can't even tell you what has changed in my life since I started a gratitude practice. So for those of you who don't know what a gratitude practice is, I'm going to create a video shortly about that. But essentially what we're trying to do, or what we are doing, is that we're cultivating these feelings through the practice of gratitude so that you already feel them, okay? And once you've actually already felt what that is like, you've given yourself permission already to feel it. So then the chase is over, essentially. So for example, let's just say that I could cultivate the feeling of love and connection internally. Then of course the chase, the desperate chase, or the wanting or the desire is over. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to attract, an incredible person into my life. In fact, the opposite is true, because it is an incredible attraction to see somebody who is at total peace with themselves, right? To be feeling love within themselves is absolutely attractive, right? So the opposite is actually true. So it is a kind of a paradox, as a lot of this stuff actually is. So first step is to become aware that, the thing that you are chasing, that's not what you want. It is the perception of what that item actually gives you, or that experience actually will give you at the end. So you need to wade through that and work out what kind of internal representations you have in your subconscious. Secondly, just to implement a gratitude practice. And this totally changed my life, like totally turned my whole life upside down in such a positive way. I can't even start to even express it here in this video. So guys, if you feel like you've been on the chase for far too long, you feel exhausted, maybe your life feels like it's sitting in kind of like a space of mediocrity, then just come along on the journey with me and we'll experience it together. Like, I've been through a lot of stuff over the last couple of years, and all I want to do is just now share the powerful modalities and the powerful practices that I've put into play that has just changed everything, all right? And so make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Share it around, and look guys, I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers.